that we want to first think about when we think about abundance and love, and that is really starting to contemplate on this very thought. And that is to start to contemplate on the saying, and I apologize, I don't have the exact individual that this quote is from, but is to begin to seek all the places that we have withheld love from ourselves. That in all places that we find ourselves restricting love or holding ourselves back, that we are going to start to learn how to catch these places so that we can unbind, unspell, uncast, and delete all places where we may have contracts, vows, or agreements for any kind of poverty, any kind of limitation or suffering. So, within this, as we start to get to look at this, the very first invitation I'm going to just start with out there is that when you think about abundance, having what it is that you choose to have within this lifetime, the very first question to ask is, what is abundance to you? When you think of abundance, your idea of abundance might be completely different than my idea of abundance. And so this is about not making these concepts or ideas based on anybody else's perspective, but really, what are your concepts or ideas of abundance? What is abundance to you? That if that was an experience within your life, you would truly wake up every morning, really, truly saying with so much love, I feel so abundant, I feel so loved. Okay. So that would be the first invitation as something to write down. What is that? Now, the minute that you start to think about that, that's one part of it. The real work comes from this next aspect within, and that is to actually start to listen to the internal dialogue within. And that is to start to listen when you think about whatever it is that you do want to manifest within your life, or what that dream of your life would be. What is the conversation that you have within your mind, your heart, or your belief systems? And notice, are those beliefs actually supporting it? Are they actually building that belief up that, yes, I do deserve or receive or am receiving these things? Or do you sense certain limiting beliefs within there that start to say, oh, well, yeah, that sounds great, but that just never happens for me? Or, oh, maybe it's a pit in the stomach or just a feeling within that one might experience. So this is going to be just we're going to revisit this very thought, but I wanted to bring this up right away so that you have this kind of in the back of your mind as we're going through all of these things, because as we go through each of the different gates and the different things within the chart, the real question is, what are the voices in your head that are either supporting or not supporting? And if there are voices within your head, your thoughts, your mind, or your beliefs that do not support the absolute receiving of things within your life, the next step from that is going to be to do what is the clearing process, and this would be more of the writing process within the seal or the soul coaching program, that goes through how to start to write down certain limiting beliefs that we might have in order to catch them, capture them on a piece of paper, so that you can go through the clearing process to begin to clear them out. One of the first things we want to recognize as we are opening to receive love is that if we are not at a level where we feel absolutely joyous and abundant and absolutely loved within our life, then there are certain things that we want to pay attention to. The first thing is limiting beliefs of your ancestors. The limiting beliefs of your ancestors in your DNA are going to hold a huge percentage of whether or not you succeed beyond a certain level within your life, whether or not you feel as though you're just getting by and just having enough, or just that your relationship is just enough, that it's okay, but it's not fireworks and magic and just an amount of playful fun and love. That we want to recognize love comes in all kinds of different ways. So within this, if it feels as though it's getting by, but it's not like filling up that place within your soul, your heart, and your spirit that is, like you could just sit and go like, man, my life is magic. I love my life. Then the first thing to begin to look at within your codes and your DNA is going to be to look at the energy of whether or not you're holding the limiting beliefs of any of your ancestors in your bloodline in your family tree. The secondary thing that you're going to want to look for within there is to whether or not there is particular bloodlines within your family. If you have bloodlines within your family that have been connected to certain kinds of like bloodline families, so Illuminati families, Mason families, um, certain types of very powerful religious line families, occult type families, spells, rituals. This is going to be through all culture. So you're going to have to get creative to really kind of diving into the introspection of, do you hold within your family tree particular bloodlines that may hold seals upon the bloodline as to whether or not any of your ancestors have ever made any deals or agreements with any non physical beings. I'll just leave it like that. And these are going to be things either through initiation rites, through spells, rituals, superimpositions, everything from religious types of agreements to blood ritual types of agreements to even shamanistic types of agreements with spirits or beings. So that is a secondary thing. It might seem completely lateral to this whole conversation, but it is actually very, very important, because if there are any agreements with any non-physical beings, so this is going to be interdimensional, lower astral, and the list kind of goes on. You can look into the Seals and Implants course to get a little bit more of an idea of some of these types of beings. Those contracts and agreements have to be cleared and broken in order for your energy to truly be sovereign and be your own. That is going to be very, very important within there. The third thing I will say before we really get going with the actual charts is you want to actually look into your own perspective of any other incarnations that you've been a part of where you may have made vows, promises, prayers, or sacrifices. And so this would either be, I will sacrifice myself for, or you've made vows. It could be vows of poverty, vows of chastity, vows of servitude, vows of, I will give my life to this being. So this goes as far as if someone was even, say, a knight or a soldier or someone that was in service to the king or the queen. Or an empire. This is going to be really important to look at any places that you have ever maybe potentially made vows, promises, prayers, agreements, or contracts with any individuals. And I always just like to throw in the term willingly or unwillingly, known or known, in any lifetime or any experience. This is something that's very simple to do. Probably the more easy to go clear. You're just going to go straight up into the Crystal Council, stand there, pull up all the records as if you are literally going to just take a scan for everything that you've ever made an agreement to, but primarily really especially things made towards religious organizations, vows, those vows of poverty, vows of chastity, um, all of these types of things. So the question is coming in, would this also include things like a bodhisattva vow? Well, a bodhisattva vow just means that you're choosing not to fully leave the physical planes of existence until all humanity would find their path of liberation out of this realm. So it just depends what kind of bodhisattva vow. Bodhisattva vow itself is really a vow of service to continuously coming back in a human form until all souls receive liberation. That doesn't necessarily mean that you've come within a vow to be impoverished. So that again would mean to double check as to what those particular vows might be. But again, some of these vows, and that's a great question, because a lot of the vows, again, of poverty and limitation are are attributed to spirituality. So if I'm spiritual, then money doesn't matter. Then all that matters is my spiritual path. And so there is absolutely a disconnect within a lot of the consciousness thinking streams within our DNA that says, oh, well, it's either going to be a wealthy path or a spiritual path. And so we are doing the thing right now to collapse, dissolve, and delete all of that so that we can recognize that money is just energy. It is an exchange of currency. Therefore, the more money you have, the more you can enact spiritual gifts, blessings, and purposes. Think of a bodhisattva with lots of money and how abundant that would be. But we want to just go into ourselves and start to recognize, even hearing that, does something feel uncomfortable? Does it feel uncomfortable to receive that? And then start to just write that down on a piece of paper. Just say, isn't that interesting? When I heard bodhisattvas with lots of money can X, Y, or Z, yes or no, right? Um, we want to start to catch any places where we go, oh, and you can almost feel the body, oh, restrict. Well, restricting is going to restrict our ability to receive love. And remember, source is energy. The universe is created of energy. And in this reality, one of the things that have been dreamed into creation is money. And we have the ability 100% to collapse, dissolve, and delete all Babylonian black magic off of the money. Just because there's spells and rituals that have been put on money doesn't mean that when you interact with it that it gets superimposed on you. In fact, you can actually be a conduit, and this is one of the things that I love to say when it comes to resources, abundance, and money, is that more, please. The more and more that flows through me, the more and more that I have the ability to bless that energy so that it recirculates into creation through Crystar love. Right? Oh, alchemy on every level, you guys. So as we get to be this more and more, the thing to remember is this. Things like energy, which is what we are, but things that move in a currency, this is why many times we refer to money as currency, they need to be in motion, in movement. Money loves to move. And so again, we also want to look at where is there potentially the energy of wanting to hang on to it. So I'm going to keep doing this body movement, right? Oh, well, I have it. Oh, I need to hang on to it. Oh, I need to save it. Oh, I need to do this. Whereas there's a little bit of a different mind frame that we want to recognize. Money loves to move, it loves to expand, it loves to grow. And the more that you circulate it through you, this is where we're learning to be unconditional with receiving and feeling provided for by the universe, is the more it flows, and that we allow it to flow back out through our intention of how we flow it, which means that it's intentional with what you purchase, it's intentional with what you allow that resource to flow through you to another with, and the energy that you flow it with. So as that happens, you get to allow that vibration to now flow with love, because guess what? When that money feels that, it's not money, it's just the energy of the universe. And the energy of the universe goes like, oh, I love the way they play. Let me, here is more, here is more. So we'll learn a little bit of that dance. There is a real beautiful way that we create a relationship with this energy so that we even start to learn to communicate with it and to talk with it. There is one more thing I do want to say on this, just because it's nudging forward to be spoken, and that is again in that vibration of that love in how it flows through. I'm going to invite you to get your piece of paper again to just kind of make a note on this energy. So when a bill comes in the mail, when it's time to pay your phone bill or your electric bill or that water bill or the insurance on your car or whatever, what is your energy with that? I know there's a lot of individuals out there that love to say a lot of negative things about, say, the electric company. Oh, oh, the electric bill. Tut, 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 tut. Right? Insurance companies, whatever, right? Now, we want to recognize any places that we might have money that is we are sending out, and what is the energy of which you are paying those bills, because that matters. It's putting a message out there, again, almost like a constriction and a restriction within the energy. Now, I'm going to use something like the electric bill as an example. Say the electric bill comes. For instance, it's winter time here, so it has increased tremendously. When that bill comes forward, here's the new energy I invite you to. Ah, I am so grateful for everything that I experienced because that abundant, wonderful electricity was flowing through my home. I'm so grateful that every time I touched a light switch, it turned on. I am so grateful that every time I ran the dishwasher, it went. I am so grateful that I have been warm and comfortable, and that if I put the bed warmer on the bed, it has been so snuggly to get in. And I am so grateful for the hot shower, and I am so grateful for every single thing I've plugged into every wall in here, and that my life has flowed seamlessly and easily and with love and gratitude. I am so grateful to circulate this energy in order to experience more and more joy in my life every day. Okay. One of the things many times we think of with bills is we think we're paying something and it's an ode, but rather we forget about all those wonderful moments that we experienced within. So, this is just going to be a little bit of an invitation to start to bring a bit of energy of how we start to have a relationship to everything in this incarnation and in this life that we are touching, seeing, feeling, and experiencing.